He had it coming being dressed like that. Men should not attend university because they do not want it. They're only pressured into it. It makes them argumentative and belligerent, and half of the men going to university just become party sluts. Women must provide, and if they do not, it is an embarrassment. Men should marry whenever their mother says because it is their duty to obey. Men are expected to have the consent of a guardian, a wife, usually or otherwise, a mother or close female relative for virtually every activity, including work, school, and travel, simply for modesty and safety. Women are not compassionate enough to be nurses. Sounds ridiculous, right? But switch the pronouns around, and you have quotes from around the world that took me very little time to find on the internet. So when people tell me that feminism is a dead cause, I beg to differ. However, I think I need to take a moment just to clear up a couple things. Saying you believe in equality but not in feminism is a direct contradiction. Anyone who calls himself a feminist and puts women above men is not a feminist. Feminism fights for the equality of all humans, period. Furthermore, if it speaks a universal truth, it should transcend both time and culture. I'd say we need feminism as we did in the past, as we do in the present, and as we likely will in the future. I recently watched a great feminist video posted on Facebook. I then browsed the comment section, and here's what I found as the top comment by someone named Amy with 632 likes. I am not a feminist. I do understand what the term means, and I don't identify as a feminist because I don't see the point. I actually feel privileged to be a woman in this country right now. I've had all the opportunities of my male counterparts, and where I haven't succeeded, it's because I didn't try hard enough. Men have not held me back, I have, and I'm woman enough to admit that. Well, how lucky you are, Amy. You have lived a life free of oppression, as have many women, including me. But because of the power of the internet and her lack of privacy settings, I know that Amy is white, from Alabama, has attended high school and university, and also really enjoys knitting. And though Amy did not mention this, I'm sure she meant to express her gratitude for all of the men and women who fought for feminism before her to give her this privileged life. And by the way, why is it considered privilege when she simply had equal opportunities to men? Certainly, equality of the sexes has reached a higher level. But Amy, you're being incredibly myopic. You're simply focusing on your personal experience without looking out across the world. We cannot discount feminism and not see the point because the point is the 62 million girls who have not had access to education like you have. It's the 20,000 honor killings that have taken place this year. It's the fact that only 11 out of the 193 world leaders in the UN are women. It's the fact that some of my female classmates downplay their intelligence for the sake of not intimidating the males, while some of my male classmates mask their sensitivity and mute their emotions for the sake of protecting their sense of masculinity. It is an interesting juxtaposition of the struggles for equality in our developed world and the struggles for equality in the rest of the world. Here we are shouting girl power while girls in Afghanistan like Sabine Mahmoud are being killed for simply having political views and opinions. But what I want to stress is that we cannot diminish the inequalities in our society here because the truth is we still have many as well. I mean, here I am, a woman with a privileged life, living in one of the most developed countries in the world. And yet, when I was a little girl, society indirectly taught me that the ultimate compliment was to be called pretty. And today, after I'm finished speaking, I'm probably still going to get some flack for giving an angry feminist speech. And in the future, when I join the workforce, I will still make 82 cents to every dollar earned by a man. I have noticed that it is my generation that seems the most confused about feminism. I contend that this is because in the past, the feminist agenda was clearer. We fought for tangible things like the right to vote, universal contraception, access to male-dominated professions, for example. It is now that we have made discernible gains that the need for feminism is being questioned. Let's just say we're here. Some countries are still back here, but we all need to get here. Our world today is governed by technology and immediacy. The idea of being sexy is now everywhere, not only in magazines, but now all over social media as well. Gone were the days when you had to turn to Playboy or at least an alcohol advertisement for some sexualized material. Now even Burger King is joining the club. This is ridiculous, I know. Exactly. As you can see, these are just a portion of the new issues we need to tackle today. So how can we expect to stop the intense oppression in developing countries when Amy from Alabama doesn't even believe she needs feminism because she has not had men hold her back? How can we hope to advance equality in the world when I cannot even state the name of the force that fights for it without people rolling their eyes and cringing? So Amy, you are totally right. We are clearly living in a post-feminist nirvana. Never have I ever had so much access to magazines telling me whether I'm desirable or not. I had no idea the 5 ways my makeup was turning men away. Amy, I love my newest party accessory, which is my drink that I must never put down or take my eyes off of. How great is it that wherever we walk in the city, get a ton of compliments from strangers? I'm doing great today, thanks for asking, totally inappropriate guy on the 3rd floor balcony. It is the unfortunate truth that feminism has become a dirty word. I would say that feminism is one of the most loaded concepts in the English language, right after just not ready or Netflix and chill. It is interesting and incredibly telling the times when I'm called a feminist. Like the other day, one of my classmates was telling a hypothetical story about a lawyer, and I added a or she to their automatic he, and I got the oh, such a feminist. Or worse, what, are you a feminist? Like an accusation. But the real issue is, the first couple times I was called a feminist like this, I felt embarrassed. I felt like I was being called a rude name, because that's the reputation the word has. I seemed to get the gist that if I was being called a feminist, I hated men, I was ugly, manly, and I would have to throw out or burn all of my bras immediately. I now realize that being called a feminist does not mean those things, and is actually a compliment. It means you care about equal rights and fair treatment, as everyone should. So to these questions of what, are you a feminist? I've decided to start responding with, and you're not, because that is allowed to be an accusation. As Emma Watson states, no country has achieved gender equality. We have our battles to fight here. In the US, they have their battles to fight. In Afghanistan, they have theirs. And we cannot diminish any of these struggles because they all stem from the same fundamental idea that one gender is superior to another. The fact that this idea endures is why fighting for equality, and therefore feminism, must also endure. So what's the problem with the F word? Well, one thing's for sure. It's not used nearly enough. Thank you.